What's going on, everybody? It's Mercedes Terrell from Bellator MMA.
Hey, this is Billy Howard from the Perfect Circle.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla.
Hey, this is Max from the Arkells.
Hi, this is Tina Stoll. I'm a driver in the NHRA.
Hey, this is Dallas Smith.
Hi, I'm Commander Chris Hadfield.
I'm Danny Danko. I'm the Senior Cultivation Editor for High Times Magazine.
Hey, guys, guess what? I'm Jake the Snake Roberts, and you're not. Yeah, bad break for you. You're listening to the Toddcast podcast like you didn't know.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
You know when you've been working on something since you were a kid, like certainly going back to high school, something that's captivated your curiosity. It's that awesome feeling after having it consume your thoughts for years. Passion keeps you going, driving you. Maybe some doubt creeps in from time to time. You get challenged, but it all works out in the end. You get a sense of accomplishment, of satisfaction, of validation. You know, with every guest, we talk about the shows they've been binge watching, and lately a good percentage have said it's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. You've got to watch this. If you watched, you know. It's super witty, it's great storytelling, awesome acting. It's set in the 50s in New York City, and actor Austin Basis, who's been honing his craft since high school, winning performance awards as a senior. So Austin plays Alvin in Mrs. Maisel. He's the head writer of the show within the show, and he's a guest this week.
You know, they do a lot of, in this, what I learned is, you know, watching it, you get to see they have one shots, oneers, they call them, where it's like probably about 4 pages of material. Every character that you see, it's all in the same shot. And like a play, you only get one shot at it, you know? So, you know, unlike a play, you get several takes. So if you do it, like usually those takes take like at least 15 takes, those shots. So everyone in every situation, cameras, sound, like, you know, acting, everything has to be perfect for that to be the shot because there's nothing to cut away to. So knowing that early on, I was like, oh, this is testing my skills. But also, I've been a huge fan of the show, so a lot of my energy was spent convincing myself I didn't know anyone in this world. And like when I meet Mrs. Maisel or Midge, she, like, I don't know who she is, when Austin knows very well who she is and what the show is in a greater sense.
Joining actor Austin Basis, making her second appearance, is board-certified physician, writer, model, and retired IFBB pro Stacey Naito.
Well, you know, I've been a physician for 22 years now. It's just so deeply ingrained in who I am and how I live my life. I know that I've been better able to establish boundaries, not only with patients, but with what I'm willing to deal with say, a practice. You know, I like being kind of the boss, you know, where I can say, you know, this is how it's going to be, as opposed to being sort of a lackey and, you know, working a shift and saying, okay, I put my time in. So I can design. I was able to actually to design my career as a physician in recent years, and that makes me feel so much more empowered. Yeah, so it's good. It's great.
And you'll hear from this week's musical guest in just a second. He is straight up a Canadian rock royalty. So coming up shortly in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, BC Lions linebacker Boseko Lokambo talking about career highlights of playing with that team. That's powered by our good friends at FKP MMA. You can learn self-defense, build self-esteem, meet new friends, get fit doing it as well. My little guy Levi has been going a couple times a week now for about a year and a half. Absolutely loves it. Comes out flushed, red face, just loving the sessions. They are Vancouver's #1 training destination through fkpmma.com. First, let's get to the first guest of 3. This week's musical guest, as mentioned, Econoline Crush singer Trevor Hurst. It's brought to you by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. So the idea is simple. If you got a good song, you just need a great mix. Look no further. Talk to Braden. He will dial you up all sorts of genres. So check out a little bit of a track he did with Tisa Rahim called Someone Else Does.
Try a little harder, baby, before I change my mind. Who are you to mess with me, boy? No, it ain't justified. Ain't asking for too much. You need to measure up. Oh, this love won't feel like love. Try a little harder, baby, before someone else does.
Right? Like a great track, huge mixes, killer sounds, great vibes, again, through vibecavestudios.com. So you've heard Econoline Crush on any good Canadian rock radio station since the mid-90s. You don't know what it's like. Home, Surefire, All That You Are. Now, these are all staples of classic CanCon, Canadian rock, songs that you need to hear on radio stations. They formed in 92 from Vancouver, and their singer Trevor Hurst is simply one of the best, one of the nicest frontmen in rock, period.
I think it's going to be kind of a renaissance. Like, there is times when I would be interviewed and people would talk about kind of like almost wistfully or whatever with, because of times past, they'd say, wow, those Edge Fest bands in the 90s with all these great Canadian bands. And I kind of feel like it's coming around again. It's like, because everybody put out records, even in America and all around the globe, practically. When the stuff comes out, I think that it's going to, like, some people are like, oh, that's just too much music and going to get lost in the shuffle. I don't think so. I think it's like people have almost an unending appetite for great music. So if you can make great music, and if you've made great music, you're going to be around for this renaissance. And I'm very confident that we're going to get to play some great shows with bands that we just love and respect. I think it's going to be a great time in music for the next 3 years, 4 years, whenever, because so much good music is out there. Depeche Mode, for crying out loud, as a record and a tour,
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just announced Josh Freese as the new touring drummer.
Do you know how tight that's going to be now?
Dude, that's
like, not insane. That it wasn't with Taylor, but sure. This is like, Josh Freese is like a machine.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the only person in the world that's not happy about it is Sting. Like,
yeah,
you taking my drummer? Like, no.
God, he played with a lot of people. He was Devo's drummer for a while.
Yeah, he was Devo's drummer. He was like, he did Nine Inch Nails for a little bit. Just trying to think of like memorable stuff, Perfect Circle stuff.
Who's the current drummer in Guns N' Roses? What's his name?
Was that Matt Sorum?
No. Shoot. But when we played this thing called Zeta Fest, and it was this band Honky Toast, Sponge.
Honky Toast is a great name,
right?
Yeah.
So, it's weird. Our generation, right? Like, I just don't Google things. I'm like, I'll remember. Anyway, one day because I couldn't get over how good the drummer was in Honky Toast. The band had no songs. They had a great name, but the drummer, and he is currently the drummer in Guns N' Roses.
Let me now that we're here, let me quickly find out.
And it was cool.
Why do I not know that?
And it was this Zeta Fest thing. Our hotel was across the street from the park we were playing. It had an amphitheater, those things with the big concrete dome thing or whatever, half clamshell thing.
Oh, Frank Ferrer.
Yeah, Frank. He was the drummer in Honky Toast. And
oh, cool.
So the Sponge guys, there was a little delay. Well, like, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Are you going on? What's happening? They had to play the set without the guitar player because he couldn't find the venue, which was across the street from the hotel.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my God, Vinny, what's up? Singer's just like, I don't know, man. They're just up there with drums and bass, wax ecstatic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just excited to see Trevor and the band back at it, diving back into the deep end. And as you may know, Econoline Crush is currently on a Canadian tour. Just played a few shows on the island, Powell River, Nanaimo, Victoria. They're hitting Kamloops this Thursday. They've got Rossland on Saturday. And then it looks like it's going to be east for a minute anyway. And then back to Vancouver to play at the Pearl on Granville Street there on June 24th. If you're going, I will definitely see you there. I've known Trevor since the late 90s. I think we talked this time for close to 40 minutes. You can hear it right now through our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. You can see it as well at our YouTube account, all at Toddcast Podcast. He told a great story about Bob Ezrin and Billy Idol. We talked about GNR playing Madison Square Garden. He told a story about Alice Cooper. We touched on his guitarist Ziggy's death back in March of 2022. And being that that's a sensitive topic, I didn't want to put too much focus on that. But Trevor and I did talk about that and how Ziggy's kind of still around and how their current tour is their first full-on tour without him.
Yeah, like we went into Ashland at one point and it didn't work out, but we were in Ashland for a bit with Sylvia. And so Sylvia's vocal is on a song called Going Under, and Ziggy's guitar is all over it. Ziggy's guitar, and he wrote Invincible with me, and his guitar is all over it. One other song too. Shoot. But there's a number of times where he played some overdubs and did some things. So he's on the record, definitely. And then in the artwork, we have a 63 Impala for kind of the cover, and one of the posters, the plate on the car says Ziggy.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, the death of a band member has got to be one of the hardest things to have happen to you as a musician. You're in a long-term relationship with this person. You've created art with this person. You've toured the world with this person. My heart broke for Trevor and Ziggy's bandmates and friends when I heard the news. Econoline Crush hit platinum success with their Devil You Know album back in 1997. That's kind of what cemented them into the scene. A couple Juno nominations back in 95 for Purge, in 98 for The Devil You Know. The quick Coles notes, you'll remember that they took a break, a bit of a hiatus back in 2005, but got back together again for some shows the next year in 06. They put out an album called Ignite in 08, and at that point, they're back together. They're playing festivals. In fact, Robbie and Ziggy are back with the band as of 2010. Robbie leaves the following year, but they put out a best of album, and then they went on another hiatus, back together for some shows back in 17, released a few songs, released No Quitter, which is off their new album, When the Devil Drives. It's great to catch up with Trevor. I mean, this is his third time on the podcast, talking about touring with Kiss and all the stuff that he learned from those guys on that tour. We touched upon addiction, family, whether he's been watching the NHL playoffs. Does he even care now that there's no Canadian teams left?
I love the Maple Leafs drama because it's so like just what is going on there, like Shanahan looking like a Lugan, firing this or whatever's going on. I can't even figure out what's going on.
With Dubas leaving, I was surprised that you didn't see Matthews like boom instantly like, all right, see you later then, because I thought that those guys were thick as thieves. Like,
well, if they're not thick as thieves, they're at least connected through their management or agents. I think same agent company represents both of them. But I kind of have a soft spot for Vegas. There's a lot of Manitobans, and there's one in particular. White Cloud is from Sioux Valley, or I believe he's Dakota from Sioux Valley, from that community, Dakota community there. And I see a lot of Vegas Golden Knights stickers on cars, because of that. And there's some more other guys on that team from Manitoba, but isn't there? I don't know, but I think
there are. Yeah, I love that they're just a couple of years into their franchise, and they're already like, let's play for the cup.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, Vegas must be an interesting place to play. I would imagine that like there's got to be when like say the Canadians play, it's got to be half Habs fans.
Oh, I think so. It's like just the musicians alone that I know in Vegas. They're all Canadians.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to Fitz the other day, Brent Fitz, and he was saying, "Come on, man, you got to hope for Vegas. There's so many Manitobans."
Yeah, that's funny. But are you keeping up or no?
I am a little bit. Oh no, I'm not keeping up really that much because once the Canadian teams are out, I'm really bummed. I thought the Oilers were going to do it this year. Like,
I thought it was McDavid's year. Yeah, big time.
He's very young though. I think that with some moves, that next year should be their year.
I think so. Like
prediction.
They had 3 guys, 100-point guys this year.
man, wasn't Dry? What's his name?
Draisaitl. Yeah.
Man, he was surprising. Really, really good.
And
I can't believe what's his name? Kachuk over in.
Well, he's probably better than his dad, man.
I know. That's crazy.
Kachuk was a great player.
He was great. Well, Jets, right? He was their captain? No, that was Howardchuk.
Oh, Dale Howardchuk.
Dale Howardchuk. Where did Keith Kachuk play?
Keith Kachuk? Wasn't he? Keith Kachuk was.
Was he a Flames?
Ooh, I don't know if he was.
I don't know, but
way
it's
better with music than sports.
Yeah, same.
But how about Bedard? Like, do you think Bedard's going to stick around and be a Blackhawk? Because he wants to play in Vancouver. Wouldn't that be amazing to see Bedard as a Canuck?
It would be, but I hate to say it, but like, honest to God, playing for one of those original six, like to play for the Blackhawks for even a few years, like this is the team Stan Mikita played for. Come on.
Right. True enough.
Like, I like Chicago. I like the city too, but I can see why he would want to play in a Canadian market and in Vancouver for particular. I mean, it's a beautiful city, and
he lives right over there on the North Shore, so
I could stay home.
Right, he's like a 5-minute drive to the rink. That's why he wants to be here.
Yep.
It's probably not the reason why, but imagine if the Vancouver Canucks could nail down Bedard. Holy crap. Great to talk with Trevor about the new Econoline Crush album, how he was inspired early on by INXS, Chris Cornell, The Cult. We talked about seeing Van Halen in concert, the Rolling Stones, Nine Inch Nails came up, and he recommended some books to read.
I was just handed a book the other day to reread. It is In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts by Gabor Mate.
Oh.
And I highly recommend it, actually. When I was halfway through my psych nursing degree, I looked at my addictions prof, Berta. I said, Bert, I'm reading this book here with Gabor Mate, and do you think I have ADD? She goes, you think? Squirrel.
Yeah, totally right. Like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, but yes, a lot of us in this business.
Yeah.
But that gentleman, he does stuff down in the downtown east side there, and does a lot of great work for people. He does a lot of great work with addictions, and one of his great sayings, is addiction is just a lack of connection, and connection kills addiction because you have something to live for. And it's a beautiful thing. He's a very wise man. He's a great author, and In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts is a book I think everybody should read at least once in their life.
Toddcast podcast musical guest visits are powered by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. Huge mixes, killer sounds, great vibes. Visit them at vibecavestudios.com.
I don't think you're able to rip
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
Football fans, both CFL and NFL, know Boseko Lokambo. He was raised in Abbotsford, huge numbers as a senior, 47 tackles, 4 interceptions, ran for over 1,500 yards on 107 carries, 22 touchdowns, caught 37 passes for 728 yards, drafted to the BC Lions in the 3rd round, 21st overall in 14. Signed a reserve future contract with the Baltimore Ravens in 17, released to the Oakland Raiders practice squad same year. Then it was over to the 49ers, played practice squad, then signed a reserve future contract in early 18, only to be released a few months later. Then it was back to the CFL, the BC Lions for 18, Montreal for 19, traded to the Argos in 20, but didn't play because of the cancellation of the CFL season, thanks COVID. He signed back with the BC Lions in 21, and stop me if you've heard this before, Boseko talked about his highlights from playing with your BC Lions.
It was playing at home, being at home and being able to play in front of my family and friends, being able to learn the CFL game, because at the time I didn't really know CFL that well. Playing in BC in high school, we play American rules. We play 4-down football.
Right.
And that's the game I learned growing up, all the way up until playing with BC. My first year, 2014 was my first year, and I came in with the Lions. I signed late. In September 8th was the day I signed, which was like halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And learning the game, the CFL game, was new to me.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
Have they got the best of me? Am I blind because I'm biased? Or is this another scheme? You think you know somebody, then they shock you with the truth. I'm stuck in denial, that makes me suspect too. Well, it shook me a little too much. All it took was a little mistrust. Now it's looking like another witch hunt. I don't wanna see you burning. The crosshairs around your head, shooting labels at your like cat lip. They won't stop till your name is dead. I hate to see you burning. I used to look up to you, now you're dragging in the mud. Offer in my hand would get it ripped off my everyone. It's a tragedy, a travesty. It's hard to see, but explain to me why the lighting torches before they hear you speak. Well, it shook me a little too much. All it took was a little mistrust. Now it's looking like another witch hunt. I don't wanna see you burning. The crosshairs around your head, shooting labels at your like cat lip. They won't stop till your name is dead. I hate to see you burning. Was a little mistrust. Now it's looking like another witch hunt, and I hate to see you burning. The crosshairs around your head, shooting labels at your like cat lip. They won't stop till your name is dead. I hate to see you burning. I hate to see you burning. And I hate to see you burning.
Oh, it's going to be such a fun night. The band is Redwoods, and a new song for them called Witch Hunt, and you'll have a chance to see them live, not this Friday, but next on Friday, June 16. Blue Light Studio, Toddcast Podcast, Blue Light Sessions with Redwoods and Gone Sugar Die. And we'll play something from those guys a little bit later on. So think acoustic, Q&As. I interview the band throughout the performance. You get to ask questions as part of the audience as well. Keep in mind, these nights are filmed. We, of course, make videos and stuff for all the bands and everything. It's only $20 in advance right now through eventbrite.ca. Eventbrite.ca. Search out Toddcast Podcast. You can't miss it. It's $25 if you want to gamble and wait for the door. Doors are at 7 o'clock. Speaking of, show starts at 8. We'll probably wrap things up around 10:30, something like that. I played you Nicholas Rage, and that was the song that I was introduced to them by. It's called Dirty Talk, and instantly became a lifelong fan. I mean, literally every single song that these guys have sent me, they're all just that good. They are the lone non-Vancouver band this week. They're based out of Edmonton, Alberta, and no doubt these guys have got to be one of the best bands in that province, talking all genres. So coming up in just a few minutes in Listen to This, with Steel Panther recently playing on America's Got Talent, singer Michael Starr talking about career highlights. That is powered by 6-year sponsors. Tedco RV Supplies out in Langley. RV service, repairs, ICBC accredited. You can find them on Facebook. They're also on Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, physician, writer, and retired IFBB pro, Stacey Naito. It's powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home, for your body, bandanas and socks and dishcloths and shirts and scarves and pillows, and you're going to love their work. Top notch, and they only use pure plant extracts, natural fibers. In fact, it's good for Mother Earth. Locally owned? Check. Locally operated? Yes. Find them through handoverhandtextiles.com. They're also on Instagram. So you first heard Dr. Stacey Naito on the podcast back in October of 18. She's born in Hollywood, California, has spent most of her time involved in the entertainment industry. She's now a retired IFBB pro, a board-certified physician, a certified nutrition coach, a fitness trainer, a writer. This time around, we talked to Stacey about her vacation promise that she'd mentioned the last time we talked to her meditation teacher. Aliens came up, so did the series Grimm, anti-aging medicine, and with so many different hats that she wears, what's an average day?
I don't really have an average day. I really don't. I mean, some days I have the doctor hat on, as well as the writer hat, as well as the brand ambassador hat, as well as the daughter hat, the cat mom hat. It just really all depends. Yeah. So, yeah.
Right.
I do like the fact that I'm working in more of a supervisory role now as a physician.
Oh.
It's more in keeping with my personality. Because, I pay my dues. I don't want to be examining orifices all the time. Actually, never.
Not all the time, never.
Yeah, actually, I was working these urgent care shifts back in 2019, and it was funny how it kind of petered out right before lockdown, which was fine with me, good. Mm-hmm. But there I was, working these 12-hour shifts, examining orifices, seeing nasty shit that I didn't want to see, and I thought, I don't really want to do this stuff. I mean, yes, I'm board certified in family practice, but I work in, anti-aging medicine and medical aesthetics. Those are more proactive patient populations, and I love dealing with them. And there's a lot that I enjoy with those two fields. So, and actually, I have lockdown to thank for pushing me into more of a supervisory role. So, hey. Yeah, so it worked out well.
The full talk with Dr. Naito is about a half hour long. You can hear it, you can see it on our social media platforms, all at Toddcast Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. So if you're looking for customized meal plans, exercise regimens, looking to lose weight maybe or gain weight, get toned, check out her website, staceynaito.com. We talked about COVID and photo albums. That'll make more sense when you hear the full talk. Of course, fitness and nutrition was covered, and Stacey had a couple book recommendations as well.
Kind of random tastes in my reading material. I actually just recently picked up a book that I first read when I was a teenager. It's a book by Aldous Huxley, who had written Doors of Perception and Brave New World. But my favorite novel of his was After Many a Summer Dies a Swan. And it was just such a quirky novel, and I've read it probably 4 or 5 times over the decades. Wow, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to read it again, just because it's a really interesting book. It's a really interesting jaunt. Yeah, so that's kind of on my list. And recently, I'm trying to think of what I read. There was what is it called? The Emperor of Scent. It's the book surrounds the story of basically a scent guru, a fragrance guru. He's a scientist and he's of French descent, and just his descriptions of different fragrances, it was just fascinating to me. So kind of digging that kind of stuff. I've also been interested in books that describe like the history of certain foods. So, the history of the world in 6 glasses is one that's really good. So it talks about tea, coffee. If you think about how important tea is, in our civilization, coffee, beer. And apparently, this is interesting, in ancient times, beer was so valued, so highly valued, it was so important that men, women, and children would get a beer ration. And you would think, wait, why are you giving beer to a child? The water supply was often contaminated. So at least with the beer, they knew they could get some kind of hydration in safely. So I don't know. I dig stuff like that. It's just that, like my scientific nerd brain just completely geeks out on stuff like that.
Right. So, wait a second. Did you just say beer hydrates you? Did I just hear that?
Well, that was their thought in ancient times.
Sure.
Yeah. Because if you could either drink contaminated water or you could drink beer. Well, between the two, you're going to drink beer, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure they weren't like slugging it down and getting all wasted, drunk. Maybe they were. I don't know.
Well, little kids wouldn't take very much. A couple chugs, and there you go. They're lightweights.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Stacey's a great follow on social media. She's fun, she's active, she's engaged. And this time around, we got into a lot of things, like talking about the music of Zeppelin, The Doors, The Clash, seeing Nothing But Thieves in concert, which is a great band if you don't know them. How she recently went to an LA rave. I was like, what? How old are you? Like, what are you talking about? Like 18, 19, 20-year-olds? Isn't that raves? But she's like, yeah, no, it's crazy, right? The NFL came up, the Chargers came up, and how she's been learning a couple different languages over the last little while.
So I'll give you a little bit of background. So I've had it's like almost 1,000-day streak on Duolingo. And I'm very proud of that because, it just keeps me very consistent with learning Japanese and Spanish. Now, I'm half Japanese, so I've had an exposure to the language just growing up. And so I figured, it'd probably be nice if I knew a little bit more Japanese. So I'm just trying to brush up. But I know a lot more Spanish, and I don't have a drop of Hispanic blood in my body, it's just how it is. But I took so much Spanish in school, grade school, high school, college. And then my dad was married. He was married to my mom. And then when they got a divorce, he married 4 more times. And wives 2, 3, and 4 were full-blooded Mexican. and then his fifth wife was half Mexican, half Lebanese. So I was just like surrounded by people who spoke Spanish. So I thought, I should probably brush up. That's why I did that.
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's another way where I can make myself kind of goal oriented. So I like dangling a carrot in front of myself and saying, okay, this is the next thing you get to do.
Yeah.
Especially since I no longer compete. I stopped competing in the bodybuilding world in 2014. So, and I'm actually very happy that I'm retired from competing. That was very strenuous.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
If I don't reach out to just get involved with others, no. And if you take me for granted, don't be surprised if I don't stay. If you don't reach out to stop me, you'll see me walk away. I'll leave you
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
The early days for Steel Panther will take you back to Hollywood's Sunset Strip in the early 2000s. Starting off calling themselves Metal Shop, then they went to Metal School, eventually settling on Steel Panther. The common thread being the fun and the wit, the tongue-in-cheek rock songs that you've come to know and love with these guys. And it's not just the fans who are fans. Some of rock's biggest have jumped on to do guest vocals. Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Justin Hawkins of The Darkness, M. Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, Chad Kroeger of Nickelback. I've known the band since damn near the beginning, when the boys would play shows in Vancouver, and they were always presented by Seafox. And since I was their afternoon host and the Rock Report host over that time, if the band came to the station, I would be the person that they would be coming to talk to anyway. Always a really good talk with these guys, especially their singer, Michael Starr. He's such a beauty. He loves what he does. Genuinely a nice guy. He's in it for all the right reasons. And we got into it with him. Comic books, Deadpool, Batman, Superman, his thoughts on Axl Rose singing for AC/DC's World Tour. He shared a near-death story, the music in his house as a kid growing up, all the stuff you would expect, the band, making music, vocal warm-up tricks, working with Chad Kroeger, touring the world, his career highlights. Listen to this.
Each step of the way is a highlight. So even when we were a cover band back in early 2000s, we were selling out the Viper Room. So at that moment, that was the best ever. We're on the Sunset Strip, selling out the Viper Room. And then we go to the Roxy and start selling that out. And that, to me, in my career, was a huge success story for us. And then we went to even a bigger club called the Key Club. Double the capacity, sold that out every Monday. Another milestone. Then the House of Blues, played there until it closed down. We actually played there. We played more shows at the Hollywood Sunset House of Blues than any other band ever had played there.
Wow.
So that's a big milestone. And then to go play Download Festival in Donington in the UK to 75,000 people, 2 bands before Aerosmith on the main stage.
Wow.
Pretty big deal. Then to go play Wacken this year, we're going to play in Germany. It's a festival that holds 100,000 people. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I wish my penis would do that.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
Is it the beginning, or is this the end? Come a little closer, then you put me on a leash again. So take a picture and cry. A little love, a little time. So send a picture goodbye. shut your eyes. Sleeping pills every night. I'll be here when you change your mind. So wear your heartbreak jewelry. Wear your heartbreak jewelry. So wear your heartbreak jewelry. Wear your heartbreak jewelry. Sleeping pills every night. It's okay, shut your eyes. Sleeping pills every night. It's okay, shut your eyes. So wear your heartbreak jewelry. Wear your heartbreak jewelry. A little love, a little time. A little love, a little time. A little love, a little time. A little love sometimes.
This is going to be a fantastic night. So the band is called Gone Sugar Die. Their song is called Heartbreak Jewelry, and you can see them opening up the night at our next live show, as mentioned, on Friday, June 16th. So it's Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. It's the Toddcast podcast, Blue Light Sessions with Redwoods and Gone Sugar Die. As mentioned, only $20 right now through eventbrite.ca. Hope to see you there. You heard Spendo, and that was their song called Fighter. They just did a little BC tour with the boys in the Vito's. Make sure to catch both bands. I was going to mention Spendo, but both bands are fantastic live. If you hear of them playing a show near you, absolutely fantastic bands. Spendo has got to be near the top of our live scene right now. Speaking of live music, there's a small list of shows, not only our shows, but other, promoter shows and other band shows and stuff, through the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. If you're playing a show, if you're going to a show, if it's indie, let us know about it and we'll post it up at the website, all right? Okay, our final guest of episode 306 is actor Austin Basis. This week's entertainment lifestyle guest, powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. You can also get oils and hash, all kinds of edibles and peyote and a whole bunch more. But do this at registry, okay? Mention you heard about them through this podcast. It will instantly upgrade your profile on their website, sacredmeds.com. So Austin Basis was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, majored in theater. Like most actors, he started off as a struggling actor, working odd jobs like bartending and busboy and bouncer, and he was even a substitute teacher. This is all, of course, while performing in indie and student-led films. You'll likely best know Austin from playing J.T. Forbes in the recent reincarnation of Beauty and the Beast.
Shot it in Canada. So we shot in Toronto, but yeah, that was an amazing run we had. We had, People's Choice Awards. We had great fans, beasties. For me, at least, great character when you get to play a regular character on a show. Over the course of 70 episodes, they get to really flesh out the ups and downs of a character. Sometimes shows that have been on forever, it's a little crazy what they challenge the characters with. But in a compact 70 episode arc, to see, a character that I've auditioned for and played before, where it's either a tech geek or, in my case, in JT's case, my character was a biochemistry professor. I played teachers before. I played tech geeks before. I played, not biochemists, but just people that were the people that are brought in to make, figure things out, And also explain things to the audience. If it's like a hacking thing, I always had to explain it, or if it's like a medical thing, and that actually connected to my diabetes, my type 1 diabetes. So I was kind of prepared on the medical side because I was drawing up needles, giving, kind of tech talk in the sense of, medical, jargon, which is a doctor show. If you ever been on a doctor show, it's like, that's the hardest thing for people that are actors that aren't doctors to kind of give out diagnoses and all that without missing a beat and make it as casual as a doctor would. But it was one of those shows that I got to do a ton of things as the character, really, flex every aspect of it and go outside the box. I had a love interest, I had a superpower at some point. So little childhood dreams, being fulfilled. And, I had emotional highs, emotional lows. I had the comedy. It kind of provided me, and I think the audience, with every aspect and everything that makes up a good show, or a show that fans keep coming back to. The comedy, the drama, the romance, the action, got hung from the ceiling a couple times, got thrown on my butt a couple times, and then obviously stunt people took over, and, give them credit where credit is due. But it was really a fun 4 years, better part of 4 years in Toronto. I've liked living in different cities. I lived in Vancouver for a bit to shoot another series up there. And to me, it's like, I went to sleepaway camp growing up. So as an actor, when you get to go on location, or live in a certain city or a different city, I've had those adventures, and, it's been fun for my wife and I to have these kind of little, pockets of or chapters of our lives that involve, employment, obviously, because that makes those things possible. But, I wouldn't change that for the world. It was such a big thing for me. And such a fun experience.
The full talk with Austin is now up on all of our social media pages. It's just over a half hour long. And we talked about so many things, growing up listening to jazz, Broadway, Annie, Grease, the NHL playoffs, and how he's a fan of the New York Rangers. Superpowers came up. So did sleepaway camps and the Beastie Boys. And beyond Beauty and the Beast, you've seen Austin in the Comedy Central movie Porn and Chicken. He's been in Law and Order: Criminal Intent. He was in Spellbound, Supernatural, Life Unexpected, and talked about the actors and shows that inspired him as a kid growing up.
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough to grow up in a family, kind of like a nice Jewish family that was into comedy. My dad grew up working at the Catskills, ironically in Maisel. Their second season is, takes place in the Catskills. So he really, that generation of people in Brooklyn, went up for the summers to the mountains, to the Catskills, and, stayed in a hotel or a bungalow colony. And theater and entertainment and creativity were kind of part of that because, like I said, when I was younger, I, went to sleepaway camp. So I think all that combined, allowed me to feel the possibility or the freedom to perform, dress up. And, I loved Halloween. I used to dress up all the time and kind of do that, just, put on Dracula makeup or, and I always jumped at the chance to kind of entertain. And it was kind of, in a sense, in my blood a little. So when my career in baseball, Major League Baseball, didn't amount to anything, I stayed true with my, my acting and entertaining chops and kind of followed that. And so, watching, I was a big, TV and film watcher, but I love Spielberg films, anything that he did, Goonies, E.T., those 80s, 70s, 80s, even Jaws. We lived near a beach. We're in a beach community. So Jaws was there was definitely a vibe where it was real. You'd see that.
That actually happened. True.
They'd call people in from, the water in the early 80s. And we would think, I mean, we're thinking Jaws, we're thinking huge sharks and all that stuff. And when it comes to TV shows, I grew up on, Family Ties and The Facts of Life, Different Strokes. Like these are old school, people probably wouldn't know them because they don't really play that much anymore. But if anyone knows Family Ties, Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox, I don't know if you've seen his film Still. You should definitely watch it.
No, haven't, not yet.
If you grew up on his TV shows, and he's Canadian as well.
Of course
he basically they do this amazing editing job where they track his diagnosis and battle with Parkinson's through his career and through clips of him in different roles. So he's telling the story. You see this, kind of cutaway to interviews, and over the course of the film, you see his career take off, and you see it in the press, kind of like red carpets, public interviews, and it's cut together in such a way that you see, him experiencing this stuff while he's having this rise in his career. It's amazing. But I grew up on Michael J. Fox. Family Ties was one of those shows that, we loved, and Different Strokes, and like I said, Facts of Life. Those three, there was a couple other shows that I feel like, what was the Growing Pains was the other one, but I wasn't so much into that one. But even eventually, like even at a young age, a show like Cheers, and Roseanne and Seinfeld, these shows that kind of like cross the line between pure comedies and like real human arc, especially Roseanne. That was one of those shows that you had a ground, like a through line of real life, but the comedy that came out of like not being able to pay the bills or losing a job, that type of stuff, where a lower middle class family like myself, even though we were in Brooklyn and they were in the Midwest, there was a connection and understanding and appreciation as a young actor or aspiring actor to be like, I could be funny, I could play it real, and be poignant and kind of have, in a sense, have my cake and eat it too.
And when you really start to dig into Austin's career, you've seen him in a lot of commercials too, like Toys R Us, Wendy's, Dr. Pepper, State Farm, I guess in the States, Burger King. And as we always do, we go a little bit further than what they're known for. Got him talking about seeing Billy Joel and Elton John in concert, living with type 1 diabetes and what that's like, Family Ties, and Michael J. Fox's film Still. We talked about Family, Grade 3, like what, random, binging Succession, and What We Do in the Shadows.
I mean, if you're not watching like Succession,
right,
then like as a TV enthusiast, you're completely missing out. Every episode's better than the next. We're starting another show that actually shoots in Toronto, What We Do in the Shadows.
Dude.
It's like we're on our third go through right now, because we were like we were watching Seinfeld to go to sleep every night, and we're like, we've seen almost every episode multiple times, so we're like, let's go back to What We Do in the Shadows. And Barry is kind of, this season is crazy. So we watched those kind of like prime time. I like Only Murders in the Building. I got to work with Michael Cyril Creighton. He's on Only Murders in the Building, and so I was a fan of the show before, and he got to work with him this season on Maisel. Also in Succession, imagine someone, he's on Only Murders and Maisel, and then Peter Friedman, and one of the other actresses from Succession is also on Maisel. And so it's one of those like, you can't get much luckier than that. When I don't know, back in the day, Chris Maloney on SVU, Law and Order SVU, he was doing double duty on SVU, and what was it? He was like, what did Oz? It was Oz in New York. So it was like on an HBO show and an NBC show, and going back and forth. And it's like, wait, you're on both shows? Oh my God, if I could do that as an actor, be on such crazy shows. He's playing a cop and a prisoner, a cop in one and a prisoner in another. That, play both worlds. Like, that's just keep working. I love it,
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com.
They are called Not in Public, and that's a new song for them called 3-Piece in a Greasy Box. I've been keeping an eye on their socials for a live show because you gotta know that they're going to absolutely bring it live, hey? So as a massive comic book nerd, really looking forward to next week. You will hear from 12 guests as they talk about superpowers. So he's not a guest next week, but check out what Alice in Chains producer Toby Wright had to say.
Oh, boy. If I had a superpower, which power would I have? I think I would have the power to change all humans into responsible, loving, healing beings. And not be greedy and not be destructive of our planet. That's the superpower I'd like to have. I know it's a little boring.
Superpowers are the ultimate cheat codes, amazing, mind-blowing abilities, and that is next week. Of course, big thanks to this week's guests as well. Econoline Crush singer Trevor Hurst. Buddy, great to catch up with you, man. Really looking forward to your Vancouver show, June 24th. As mentioned, let's grab a bite before if you're able. Physician, writer, and retired IFBB bikini pro Stacey Naito. Of course, great to see you as well. Get you back on the podcast. Appreciate you taking the time. And actor Austin Bassist, so cool to talk with you. I'm a fan of your work and stoked that you were as cool as I hoped that you would be. And that's going to do it for this one, episode 306. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us. Of course, word of mouth is a big way that we grow this podcast. You can subscribe iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Of course, follow along on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We do our best to try to make sure it's not always the same exact content that going out all the time. You can comment, of course, and rate the podcast. All of that stuff helps out with the search results. Again, Toddcast podcast. Huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. Straight up, we couldn't do it without their support. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. And if you'd like to sponsor the podcast with your business, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. Maybe we'll hook up, have a beer, have a coffee, and see what's up. And keep this in mind as well. If you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission. Sounds all right, right? Till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, And most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Oh, please, not that music. That music gives me nightmares from my childhood.
Could we get something a little bit lighter? Some lighter music here.
Are you a fan of true crime TV shows?
And what about Unsolved Mysteries, the show that jump-started all of our love of true crime?
I'm Ellen Marsh.
And I'm Joey Taranto.
And we host I Think Not, a true crime comedy podcast covering some of the wildest stories from your favorite true crime campy TV shows all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Baby, you will laugh, you will cry, you'll think about true crime in a whole new way, and you'll also ask yourself, who gave these people mics?
New episodes of I Think Not are released every Wednesday, with bonus episodes out every Thursday on Patreon.
And every Monday, you can listen to our True Crime Rundown, where we go over the top true crime headlines of the week.
So come and join us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you're going to love our podcast, Disney Countdown. Hi, I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And Biscuits, I'm Jeremy, aka Jarendell, and we are the hosts of the hit Disney podcast, Disney Countdown.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show, right, Jeremy?
Ooh, girl, you know we are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you are looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefer TV is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefer TV podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Follow Nefer TV, that's Nefer TV, wherever you get your podcasts.